welcome, welcome. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. We are going to be having a live call-in show regarding this Diddy boondoggle with him assaulting Cassie, the footage being revealed. And tonight is the night that we are coming together to have a conversation about this because it needs to be had. We have to talk about what is going on out here in these streets. I'm going to give you all a few moments to come in, and I'm actually going to need somebody to call in and test the phone lines for me, and then we're going to get started with the show. All right, so we're a little behind because YouTube has a delay. I see you all are starting to come back in. All right, Brenda, you're the first person in here. Can you call the number on the screen so that I can test the audio before we go live on all of the platforms, because I want to make sure that there's no issue. All right. All right. So telephone number is 323-488-3149. I just need someone to just call the number so we can test it out, because I did have my whole audio system redone, and I'm not sure if we've taken calls since I've redid the entire audio system. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome, Tonya. Welcome. What is this? Amethyst? I don't think you should have the word troll inside your name, dear, because when I first saw the word troll, I almost got to blocking, but I kept my Twitter fingers still. I need somebody to call in 323-488-3149. I just need to, please. I just need someone to call and help me test the phone lines. That's it. Please. I just need to just make sure that the callers can be heard. That's all I need. If you all are calling, maybe you're calling. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness I looked over here, because somebody could be calling. I wouldn't even know. Oh my gracious goodness. No one is calling. 323-488-3149. I need someone to call in and test the phone lines real quick. The text has gone out, so we need to be snappy with this. Come on. Come on. Nobody wants to. Okay, here we go. You're in the air live with Tonya. What's your name and where you calling from?
I'm Tracy. I'm calling from Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right, Tracy, give me just 1 second. I need you to just remove some of these because my phone is not supposed to be ringing while I'm on air. All right. So I need people to let me know whether or not they can hear you. Okay. I'm supposed to have. Okay. Can you talk, please?
Yes. I can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear this applause coming through the phone?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me take it off of speaker. Can you hear the applause still?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. Other people are calling, but I have someone on the line right now. So let me put on. All right. So Tracy, give me just 1 second. Can everybody hear Tracy? Okay, they can hear you. I'm supposed to have
Okay.
a waveform up here, and it's not, for some reason, it's not here. It's gone. The thing that when you speak, there's a thing that's supposed to be moving, but it's not
Okay.
doing it. I don't know where it
Yeah,
is.
because
Let me,
I can hear you. I can hear you very well.
okay, give me just 1 second, please. I just need you to just please stay right there because I need to try to, I should have done this on the other channel. They said that your mic is low. Say something now.
Mm. Um, Good evening. I just
Okay,
called in.
I just turned you up. Okay, give me just one more second. I'm gonna have to work on this the spectralizer. Let me hold on. Let me get this screen up. Give me one second. Okay, this is called Waveform Visualizer 2. Waveform Visualizer. It's supposed to be here and it's not here.
Mhm.
I don't know what's going on. Audio source. Oh, no wonder the audio source is supposed to be. You are on. You're on B. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know which one you're on. Hold on. Let me see. The okay, so that shows mine as well. I need you to count your. Just do your ABCs all the way from A to Z. Okay.
Okay. A B C D
Can you do
E
it
F
slower? So
G.
please, slower than that, please.
Okay. You can- A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y and Z.
I couldn't find your thing. All right, I'm just gonna put it on. I'm just gonna put it on this, and it'll just catch both of ours, and then I'll just fix it another time. Thank you so much for helping me fix this. Big shout
You're
out to
very welcome.
you. Okay, thank you, thank
All
you.
right.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
all right, bye bye. All right, so we're going to go live on every platform. Um, all right. We are live on Twitch. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook. We're live on LinkedIn. And of course, we are live on YouTube, which is the main platform. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live right now. I'm your host, Tonya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist from TonyaTKO.com. I hope you learn how to love yourselves and one another. On this channel, we use viral stories to talk about teachable lessons for ourselves as it relates to self-love. We watched the Diddy assault footage in the last video. So if you want to see that, you can jump out of here, jump to that video. We played the entire thing. Right now, what we're doing is we're having a call-in live show where I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak your piece and talk about what is on your heart and mind as it relates to this story. We talked about the self-love lessons in last video, and same for this video. I want us to think about the self-love lessons from this story. At the end of the video, I'm going to quiz you on what you've learned about deepening ways to love yourself from tonight's video, from this, right? So without further ado, the phone number is on the screen, 323. It's scrolling right there, 323-488-3149. There are three rules in this show. We don't call women misogynistic slurs. We get up and we dance every 30 minutes. And we remember that the people that we're talking about, that they are just the examples for us to see in public, for us to consider the ways that we would love ourselves. There are some additional rules for calling in. Number one, when you call in, I have a duty to the show to keep the show moving forward. So if I need you to keep your calls within 5 minutes, right? And number two, when you hear me talking, I need you to stop talking because we cannot be trying to talk over one another. So when you hear me talking, I need you to just stop, okay? So I'm going to get the timer up for 5 minutes and I am opening up the phone lines right now. We're talking about the Cassie Diddy footage that was revealed. The phone lines are now open. Oh, someone saying I look beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 323-488-3149 is the telephone number. We are going to be reading Cash Apps in the middle of the broadcast. So the Cash App is $Tonya TKO. It is a verified Cash App account, so you know you're sending it to the right place. Because my name is spelled Tonya, and there are people who try to siphon from content creators by doing all types of craziness. So I got mine verified, and so you'll see the blue check mark there. All right, so the phone lines are open. There are people who wanted to talk about this, so I'm opening up the phone lines and they're open. So 323-488-3149. You can call and express yourself about this situation. One of the things that people were saying right before we got off is that Diddy claimed that she was trying to steal something. First of all, CNN says that his camp nor he had any comment. However, people on the internet have found a way to invent some sort of commentary that allegedly came from Diddy. So, I'm hearing some. How close are we to the 4th of July? Because I'm hearing some sounds outside that's not sounding like things that I need to be hearing outside. Nonetheless, there were people who were saying that she stole something from him and he was trying to get it back, and that's why he beat her down. That's why he was trying to drag her back to the room. That's why he hit her to the point that she was down on the floor. This is why he came back out and hit her with a vase. Come on. Unbelievable. Just like Mystical claimed a woman was trying, his accountant was trying to steal from him. So they gang R-worded her. You're in the air live with Tonya. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
Hi.
Oh, I forgot one of the rules for calling in is you got to turn down the broadcast in the background because there's going to be feedback. So talk to me, Barbara. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from North New Jersey.
Okay, so we have Barbara from New Jersey. Talk to us. What's your comment about this situation?
Okay, I'm gonna make this quick since you said it's only 5 minutes. Now,
Uh-huh.
I am just hearing about this. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a hold of the video, but I will say that this doesn't surprise me at all. It is very sick and disturbing that he's doing all of this, and the fact that there are people justifying and excusing this predator's sick person's behavior by accusing Cassie of stealing from him, even if it's quote unquote the truth, and that's something that she supposedly did. Why hasn't he easily simply called the police to press any further charges? Why does this have to be a justifiable excuse for him to go out and do this to her? And another thing that pisses me off about this situation is because is that a lot of these men, especially men like Diddy, are the same ones that would be so overprotective of their daughters, sisters, and mothers. But then they would shoot and kill if any guy treats their daughters, sisters, and mothers the way that they treat other people's daughters, sisters, and mothers. And it is so insane. I hate it when a lot of men say things like, "Oh, well, my daughter isn't dating this type of guy, and she's not dating until she's 25, and I don't want my daughter, I don't want my 18-year-old daughter dating a 30-something-year-old man." Meanwhile, this same guy dated Cassie when she was only 19. So it's very hypocritical and narcissistic and entitled for these type of men to even think like this. And I think, and I feel so bad for Cassie, everything that she's going through because Diddy is a very powerful man as far as his money and fame. So you can only imagine all of the hell and trauma that this poor woman has gone through for years. And for people to constantly accusing her of lying, it's insane to me. And another thing that I hate is the double standards, how a lot of people love to call Diddy's sons, quote unquote, still children, but then Cassie is still considered grown at 19. Do you guys see the double standards here? It's like she's a grown woman even though she was 19, but yet Diddy's sons are still considered his babies, his children, and it's just so sick. And I hope that this guy really gets thrown in jail. I think that the chickens are finally coming home to roost, and his karma is coming back to get him.
All right. Yeah. Well, you know what, Barbara? Few different things, right?
Yeah.
Go look at the last video that I put up. The last video that I put up is going to show the footage of him attacking her. You need to see how he got down. So that's one. Number
Okay.
two, um, some of these abusive men who have misogynistic ideas about women, only some of them are overprotective of their daughters. Others of them are like, yeah, they think that's how a woman is to be treated, even their daughters. Some of them are beating up their daughters, so there's that.
Yeah.
And three, how old are Diddy's sons?
I believe one of them is 20 in his late 20s, and I think the other one is
Really?
30. I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
they're
people are
grown
still
men.
calling them children. I got you, what you're saying on that. And then lastly, before we let you go, um, your smoke detector. You have to make sure that you are up on top of those things, because if tragedy happens, you want to be prepared. So when you hear that chirp start, just go order yourself some 9-volt batteries and get them changed out. During the pandemic, I had to learn how to climb up on a high ladder. I had to learn how to do all of those things myself. And after watching the show This Is Us, I realized, because that's how the father Jack died in This Is Us. They had a faulty smoke detector. He was supposed to get the battery, and then they got sidetracked, and then the next thing you know. So yeah, so make sure that you stay on top of those. Okay, we love you.
I love you too. I've been watching your channel for quite some time, and yeah, I just tuned in. I just got your notification, so I'm subscribed to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you, Barbara. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Okay. All right. All right. So, people can't always use a chair. Like the ceilings in some of these older houses and brownstones, the ceilings are 12-foot high. So you have to really climb up there and really learn how to do that. So listen, phone lines are open. We're talking about this Sean P. Diddy Combs footage that has been released. If you have not, that's 5 minutes on the call. All right. If you have not seen the footage, look at the last video because it is there. You're in the air live with Tonya. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey Tonya, this
Hi.
priest from Chicago.
I couldn't hear you. What's your name?
Tracy from Chicago.
Hi, Tracy. Your call is super clear. So let's talk. What are your thoughts? So you're in the home of R. Kelly. So this is not your first rodeo.
No. But yeah, that's another story.
Mm,
So
yeah.
the story for tonight, my thoughts on this is same thoughts I left in the comments of the last video about just when you spot the red flags, you
Mm.
have to act right away because there's been many red flags, over the years before she even got involved with him and all that other stuff. Even if you look at something as simple as the cheesecake incident, that just
What's the
shows you
cheesecake
like
incident? What cheesecake incident?
when he had when he was doing the Making the Band series and he had the group of people like walk miles and miles and miles across the Brooklyn Bridge to get him the cheesecake.
Oh, was that true? I always thought that was a rumor. He really had them do that?
Yes, it was aired on the show.
I didn't watch the show because I worked at a when I first graduated from college, or I may have even been in college. I did an internship at a record label, and the record label was over Bad Boy. So Bad Boy is just a small label, and I was in the elevator with Sean. And before he got in, his security told us that we all needed to face the back of the damn elevator. And I wasn't facing the back of nothing, but it was from that moment that I was like, I wasn't feeling him. So I didn't watch his show.
Yes, those type of behaviors where people carry themselves as if they're so above everyone else just because of their social status. And
Mm-hmm.
as far as Cassie, that's a lesson in like not mixing business with pleasure, which we all know is very well known that you shouldn't do. But we know she was young, so but just a lot of different things. There's so many things in this whole scenario to point out and pay attention to. Even something you said that kind of triggered me in the earlier broadcast when you was like, who would want to hurt such a pretty face? Just being cute or beautiful by society standards does not protect you or save you or shelter you from anything that may come your way. And that's a misconception that you know the pretty privilege thing. So that's another thing to consider. But it's
Okay.
just so much. It's so sad. Like the footage, um I wasn't expecting something to come out like that. We heard about all the sexual deviant type things that was taking place, but the physical abuse to actually see it, is crazy. And we see stuff, well, being from Chicago, in the late 90s, early 2000s, used to see a lot of that. I would say it calmed down a bit, but a lot of people do see that type of stuff and don't say anything. And we always say, see something, say something, but that's not the case in reality.
Got you, got you, got you. And I appreciate you with the correction on who would want to hurt such a pretty face or something like that. I think all women are beautiful, right? And I think women and children have a particularly special place in society. And I think that there is an egregiousness to harming children. And I think that there is like anybody who tries to destroy something as precious as children, they get a they have a special place in hell in my heart. Anybody, right? And when it comes to people who are larger and stronger than women, harming them, I think that it's catastrophic because of that in and of itself, because there's nothing that she could do to defend herself from a person larger and stronger than she. However, I don't want us to think that the comment is about her being by society's standard of beauty, because I do not believe that any woman should be hit for any reason other than to stop lethal force. That's it. And only to the point to stop the threat. All right. So, Tracy, I appreciate you calling in. The 5 minutes is up. Any last thing that you want to say before you jump off?
No, this is my first time ever calling in to any live YouTube show, so I'm glad I got through. I've been watching you for some years. I started watching you during the displacement. I think you were in
Mm.
Martha's Vineyard. So I've been watching for that long, and this is my first time calling in, but
No, Martha's
I
Vineyard
tune
is
in all
before
the
the
time.
displacement. Martha's Vineyard was like 2012, 2013, sometime around then. So that is a good 10, 12 years ago. So, wow. So we grew up together on YouTube then.
Yep, long time ride or die.
Oh, how sweet. Big
So
hugs to
yeah,
you.
I'm gonna be in the comments as usual, and just looking forward to the rest of the conversation around this. And that's it. Be well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So phone lines are open 323-488-3149. 323-488-3149. For those of you who have not seen the footage, I'm going to share, I'm going to share the video link because we just covered it. We just covered it. So That video is, let me just grab the link for you all, because that's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the footage of Sean. Here, get shareable link. I got it. And here, I'm going to post the link. This is a long link? No, there we go. All right, so I just posted the link. That's the link of the actual footage of him assaulting her. It was terrible. He took her, grabbed her, threw her down to the ground, and he kicked her twice. Then he tried to drag her by her neck, by her shirt collar, back to the room. And then he came back out and threw a glass vase. He shoved her into the corner because she was trying to call for help. He shoved her into the corner and threw a glass vase at her. I do not have Patreon. I have Cash App. And I also have a link on my website. If you go to tonyatko.com/support, you can give via credit, debit, or you can even subscribe to the text notification squad at $1.99 a month or $22 for the year. And you get a link every time I go live. And you get to join the group that we have behind the scenes. So yeah, the video does render people speechless. It's a terrible, terrible video. I'm happy that Cassie got out alive. She's a very, very, very strong and resilient young woman, because from what it is that I'm hearing that he did to her, the ways in which he beat and pummeled her, a grown man may not have even survived. So this is a very strong woman. I'm glad that she made it out alive, and that she still has love in her heart, because she did end up getting married. And I believe they have a cute little baby too. So I saw a picture of her husband walking in support of domestic violence victims. I think he was Diddy's personal trainer or something like that. And when he found out what was going on, he saved Cassie from that situation and actually helped her love again, and love in a healthy way, because that situation was terrible. 323-488-3149. He has not been arrested as of yet. The statute of limitation has passed for California, but the feds are looking into it, and he is being looked at for trafficking as well as interactions with minors. There's a lot of people that need to be rounded up. Russell Simmons is another one. Russell Simmons needs to be rounded up. Diddy needs to be rounded up. Dr. Dre, I don't know how people are still supporting this man. He needs to be rounded up. It's like we sit here and we just act like this is normal. There was this vegan festival that came to New York last year, and they put Rick Ross on the damn roster for performers. I decided I wasn't going to go, and I was contacting their corporate office to complain, because I'm like, what the hell? You're going to have some big fat bastard on the stage to advertise veganism? I didn't go. I boycotted, and I was contacting them to try to get in touch with the corporate people, but whoever made that decision, it's like, come on. They don't care about vegans. They don't care about none of that. So nonetheless, 323-488-3149. The feds have already raided his house. They confiscated stuff from his house. So it's only a matter of time. He was on the internet talking about how all of these lies this and lies that. But the proof was in the pudding. How many people need to come out? People are saying that his behavior in making of the band was concerning, but back in the days, people just laughed it off. I don't think stuff like that is funny. I told you I had interactions with him inside of our building where his security would come in there and tell us, first of all, he would make the whole elevator late. He didn't care about us and where we had to go. And he thought that we were going to face the damn wall when he got in. I acted like me no speaker the English because I wasn't doing nothing. I stood straight to the front. We're all co-workers in this building. I stood straight to the front to get to my floor. The hell he think he is, that he's going to have citizens of this here United States of America in an elevator on their way to work turn to the back because his black ass is getting in. Please 323-488-3149. I'm your host, Tonya TKO. We are talking about Sean P. Diddy Combs, the footage that has come out. I put the link, I should have put the link in the description. Let me see if I can add it now after the fact. The footage so that you could see how he behaved. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And Sharon is saying they need to get R. Kelly out of jail. Girl, don't be typing stuff like that on my video. I almost blocked you real quick because I thought you was a troll. She's saying they need to get R. Kelly out of jail because I know he's about to tell the whole truth. He was involved too. Why they got started. He don't need to be in jail. They need to toss him some extra, salty season pack for his ramen noodles in exchange for his confession. No, he needs to stay right exactly where it is that he is. Come on, Sharon? You talking about? Talking about get him out of jail. Oh, my word, my word, my word. 323-488-3149. Let me check and make sure that the lines are open because sometimes the calls be butting up against one another. No, I guess you all don't have much to say about this. If you all don't have much to say, then we have said it all. But I have a feeling that there's about 2 more calls that need to come in. And let's see, how long have we been on? It is almost time for us to take our dance break. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, Tonya. My name is Tim. I'm calling from Metro Atlanta. How are you?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. This is not supposed to be coming through to this phone. I don't know what's happening. All right. Tell me your name again. I didn't hear you. And where you calling from?
I said my name is Kim, and I'm calling from Metro Atlanta area in Georgia.
Okay, so we got Kim from Atlanta on the line. Okay, so talk to us.
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. By the way, you look beautiful.
Oh, why, thank you. I
Look
put on
absolutely
a little
gorgeous.
bit of makeup today. Thank you. Thank
Well, it's
you.
working for you. It's
Thank
working.
you. I appreciate that. I'm
Yes,
wearing
ma'am.
I'm wearing the TKO vegan makeup, so I'm happy about that. Thank you.
Oh, okay. That's nice. That's real
Thank
nice.
you.
Reason I'm calling in is because I did see that video earlier today with Sean Combs and Cassie, and the thing is that I think I suspect that, and I'm sure you'll agree, that he's been able to get away with this kind of thing for so long that he didn't care about surveillance video. He didn't care about people seeing him in a towel. He didn't care about anything because I just think, kind of like the R. Kelly situation, they've been able to get away with doing this kind of thing for so long that it's just they don't even think like this is just normal everyday life for them. It's really disturbing.
Yes. You know what I'll say to that? I think it's two
Yes, ma'am.
different I think it's two different things. I think that on the one hand, yeah, they've been getting away with it for a long time, or they've been participating it without immediate repercussions, right?
Hmm.
And I
Right.
also think that these people have disorders that, one, make them think that they're above the law, and two, that they just get out of control. They don't even bother to try to control themselves. They are just like
They're out
they
of control, and then there's no consequence.
yeah,
There's no consequence.
no
So if
immediate
that were you
consequence
or I
because
or anybody else running up and down the hall in a towel beating somebody, you know, of course we don't have $50,000 to quote unquote make it go away, because the average person just doesn't have that kind of money to throw around. Um, Secondly, I don't think any hotel chain or hotel worth anything would hide that. I'm sure if it were anybody else, the police would have immediately been called and he would have been arrested.
Mm. Mm. I wonder.
And so,
Maybe you're right.
in that way,
Mm-hmm.
He's been enabled to behave this way, in my opinion. The same way that
Mm.
R. Kelly had been enabled to behave the way he was behaving for so long. Look how long it finally took for people to do what needed to be done as far as R. Kelly was concerned.
I think R. Kelly's case is a special case because he had been caught and still got
Mm-hmm.
off. Because remember, he had that original trial and he still got off. So I think that.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah, I
that that's
remember that.
also part of it as well.
Yeah, that is true. He did. I was living in the Chicago area at the time that trial was happening. Yeah, I remember that.
Terrible.
Diddy hasn't had a trial, or at least not yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it just speaks to his boldness, the behavior. And he just thought, oh, I can just pay this hotel chain $50,000 and just quote unquote, wash my hands of it and make it go away. I also wonder who owns this hotel. It's like, since when do hotels take bribes? Like, I don't know of this world where you can pay a hotel some money to make some negative things go away. I wonder if that needs to be
it's
looked
really
into as well.
interesting because I was I was doing some investigations behind the scenes, and I had to call an establishment about a possible assault that took place at their establishment, and the director of security hung up on me and told me don't call there again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So aren't they required? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I would think that they would be required to call the police if some incident like that would happen on their property.
Yeah.
But I don't know that.
The thing about it is that these things are run by people. So there were too many people that saw that. The owner had to have known. So I don't know. That's a good. But your time is running down. You have about 30 seconds
Yes,
left,
ma'am.
so you can finish up your statements.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's all I had to say.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you
Okay,
so
thank
much
you
for
for
calling in and
having
giving
me.
your point of view. Yes. All right. So listen, it is time for us to get up and give a little dance. It's time for us to just move, because as a factor of self-love, we have got to make sure that we are taking care of our bodies. And one of the ways that we take care of our bodies is by exercising it, by making sure that when we're sitting down, for long periods of time, binge watching or watching a show or whatnot, that we get up, that we walk, that we stretch, that we get the blood pumping and flowing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to look for something that we haven't heard on the show. Let me see. All right. So let's see. This one is so if you ever hear a song on my show that you like, just okay, listen. This is what we have, so get up out of your seat. All you have to do is just move. That's it. I'm gonna move with you. All right. Remember Martin? Listen. All right, listen. Okay. All right. Okay. I got my thriller hands out. All right, listen, remember that's one of the rules of the show, so I see a lot of people typing, but this is the time that we need to move and just, hey, okay. Is that, all right, listen, give yourself 60 seconds something. And then after this, we're gonna check the Cash App. Let me do my Charleston or my Kid and Play. Here we go. Hey, 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 hey. Listen. All right. Okay. All right. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, Oh, we have somebody call from Atlanta. Who remembers the name of this dance? Hey, 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 hey. Okay. Oh, that went by so quickly. That went by so quickly. All right. All right. That was nice. A little 3 minutes. That was what, 2 minutes? Get up and move for just a little bit. All right. We're going to check the Cash Apps. All right. So we have Jay Ebony who sends $5 and says, thank you for covering this story. You are welcome. You are welcome. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of the broadcast. All right, so we're going to open back up the phone lines. Let me give you a heart. Whew. All right. Listen, I know that this is only the beginning. I know that that footage came out because there's so much worse that's about to be shown. There's so much worse. There's a lot worse. Listen, the hammer is swinging down on a lot of people. And some of these things are not as are not as quiet as, or like, we always think that it's somebody else, but these are hitting closer and closer to home. All right, phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. So Shantia is saying, some young lady was being attacked by her child's father at the hotel I work at, and I didn't see security or the Akron police show up to see what was wrong either. Wow. And Shanice is saying, I love how your channel is set up very professional. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, phone lines are open, 323-488. We'll probably take 1 or 2 more phone calls just for people to be able to express themselves. And then we're going to talk about the self-love lesson in all of this. If you, I was going to say, if you or someone you love is in a toxic, unhealthy relationship that involves violence, there is a book by Lundy Bancroft or Barcroft, which is called Why Does He Do That? It's an amazing book. I have it, but not in immediate reach, that helps you learn why abusive men behave the way that they do. And it's an amazing book. Sometimes people are being abused and they don't realize that the things that they are enduring is abuse. For one reason or another, it has become normalized either in childhood, or their esteem has been deteriorated so much that they allow the abuse to go on, or they can't get out because of financial entanglement, etc., etc. So 323-488-3149. I'm going to take one more phone call and then I'm going to jump out of here because it is 10 o'clock and we need to do part 2 of the receipt story we were covering in the last video. So we need to do our part 2, and I want to be able to get off early enough that I still have the energy and the fortitude to broadcast live tomorrow. So yes, we do need to be safe. People are saying that there's spiritual warfare going on. There's definitely some things that are happening. We have 500 people on YouTube. The last broadcast, there were 1,000 people who were tuned in. So I'm glad that people were interested in seeing exactly what was going on. So there's 500 people on YouTube, 76 on X, Twitter, and there's 45 on Facebook, and 2 on Twitch. So welcome in my 2 Twitchies. All right, one more phone call. Line is open, 323-488-3149. Sean P. Diddy Combs was accused of harming Cassie physically, hurting her in numerous ways. He groomed her when she was a teenager, and before the relationship was over, he had blackmail footage of her engaging in these quote unquote freak offs where he was paying male workers to come through and do stuff with her unprotected and stuff. Her life was put in jeopardy many times. And at the behest and at the hands of a man she was in a relationship with, many of these older men are talking about how they just love them, these younger, non-frontal lobe developed girls. And we see why in some of these cases. Listen, one of the markers or telltale signs. So I was thinking about this when I was doing the research the year before last. There are three different not markers, but there are 3 different situations that precede abuse. And one of those is a power imbalance. So either financially, age-wise, or race-wise, right? There's that. And then there's the isolation. So someone who is far from their family. If there's a huge age gap, power gap, financial gap, that these are the things that exist that make it more likely for a person to be abused. Not only that, race was also an issue on the list. When a person is dating another person who is systemically disenfranchised, who is systemically having less power than them, it also makes it easier for that person to abuse, because that other person is less likely to be believed by the police, that there are a whole bunch of other things. The person is already societally disenfranchised. So in the relationship, it just shows up in those ways as well. And then another thing that is one of the precursors. So we did age, la 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 la, and then how do I put this? One of the other power dynamics is a person who doesn't have the power because of citizenship, because of their work status, because of being saddled with a baby or babies. So there are a lot of different things that are encompassed in that. So one more phone call and then we'll jump out of here. 323-488-3149. 323-488-3149. Go ahead and like the video, thumbs up the video. I'm your host, Tonya TKO. And if you'd like to know when I go live, if this is your first time here, I am a life coach from an accredited institution. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist. And there's some other educational things that are in the works right now that will help me be able to help you all better. What we do on this channel is we talk about self-love and we watch viral stories and look for the self-love lessons in it. If there's no other phone calls, that's fine. We're going to jump right into the self-love lessons and then we'll get out of here. It's just that I have the feeling that there's one more person that wanted to call in, but they're feeling kind of on the fence. You don't have to be on the fence. You can call in and let your point be heard. You'll be the last person and then we'll jump out of here. I just have the feeling that there's one other person that wanted to talk, and you're listening and you're like, is she talking about me? Yes, I'm talking about you. I am. Your point of view is important. And so I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your thoughts are, whether you're a person who escaped a situation similar to this, whether you're a person who got into an argument with someone online when they were defending Diddy. Your point of view matters. And so I'm holding the phone lines open until, oh Lord, how come the phone lines were not even open all this time? Oh my goodness. And there have been so many phone calls that have been coming in. Let me just call this person back here. My bad, y'all. My bad. My bad.
The wireless customer you are calling is not available. Please try again later. El cliente de
That sounded like the person is having some problems. And let me just open up the lines because apparently I ain't able to get through calling you. Oh my gracious. My goodness, that almost sounded that doom doom doom. That sounded like the person done had a disconnection. You're in the air live with Tonya. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Bridget, and I'm calling from Maryland.
Hi, Bridget from Maryland. Welcome, welcome. How are things down there with the bridge?
I'm not in that part. That's Baltimore. I'm over in Bowie.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well, talk to us. What's your comment this evening?
So I guess one of the biggest things I've had watching this and listening to this is not only the hotel hit it, but the fact that the no guest or anyone else thought to intervene or say something also bothers me. It's one thing to pay off a hotel, but again, to have everyone kind of ignore this, there's no way that other people didn't hear it in the hallway or something. And it just, that's the part that sticks out to me is how do so many people remain silent? Like you keep seeing these videos pop up of this abuse and these things happening to women, but nobody's intervening, and I don't
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. That's a good point. Why is it that people were so silent in the time that this was happening? Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, that's the why is everyone so silent? And it's like I said, it's too many things happening. We have the poor lady in New York with that had the belt around her neck and dragged.
Yeah.
There's this video front and center. Where's the, you know what I mean? Where's the movement? Where's the, hey, let's do something? It's again, yes, hotel may be paid off, as they said, 50,000, which is sad. But again, so you paid off a hotel, the security, the managers, the housekeepers, everybody. Nobody thought to say nothing for this young woman. And if you think of it in that perspective, this is beyond appalling. Because again, that means what safety? What belief? Who's going to believe you when when it's in your face and people aren't doing anything?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Is it that people don't believe or that they just don't care?
And that's the worry. Is it a matter of they don't care? Because again, I hear glass breaking. You know what I mean? You peek out. It's like when people kind of peek out their blinds. So you mean to tell me nobody down a hallway? Fine, okay, nobody. Let's say he rented out the whole wing and nobody was on that floor. Okay, you mean to tell me the people below didn't hear it? Nobody, and nobody thought to find out nothing.
Well, I've never heard anything through a hotel floor. Now, that's some big rough and tumble there. But I feel what you're
I mean,
saying.
as bad as that assault looks, I would
Yeah.
say as someone who worked at a hotel for many years, worked at many different resorts and things, I have to be honest, it depends how the hotel is set up, but this is the hallway. We're not talking rooms that are kind of, supported, like supposed to be a little more soundproof. We're talking in a hallway. Anybody that's ever been in a hotel, think about kids running up and down a hallway. You tend to hear them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what stood out to me is the fact, I don't know if I'd call it just we didn't hear it. It's have we gotten to a point in society we just not saying nothing, and that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Thank you for calling in and giving your point of view. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. I see that there are some people who saying that they did want to call in, so the lines are open. I don't know what's going on with the something is going on. I have my do not disturb on, but still the call is coming through and I don't understand why. Give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Let me figure out what's happening here real quick because the call is not supposed to be coming through. Oh, I see what's happening. coming. This is weird. I don't understand why that's happening. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Tonya. This is Lisa. I'm calling from Chicago.
Hi, Lisa from Chicago. How are you?
I'm I'm okay considering the content.
Yeah.
It is definitely triggering, but I'm glad to be talking to you. You look beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know how to flatter.
I can't help but ignore it. I can't ignore the beauty. I can't, lie about the truth.
Oh, I know that's right. I know that's right. All right, so go. So come forward. Go ahead. What is your comment today?
Yeah, my commentary is, I think that we're evolving, like our culture. And when I say our, I say that kind of loosely because I do recognize a lot of this is in it's sort of subculture
Mm-hmm.
as far as being abusive towards women.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, like back in the '80s, which is when Diddy came up, but like he came up in like the '70s, '80s,
Mm-hmm.
women didn't call the police on we didn't call the police on our men when they
Mm.
hit on us. It was a thing to not call the police. And I feel like he was just so comfortable with the way things were. And then you add to that his power that he established in the industry, and it
Mm.
just amplified all of that. And I just think it's kind of sad to see so many people still want to try to rationalize his behavior. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's just that it's taking time for that culture to kind of fall away, but it's starting to shake loose.
Yeah.
And I'm just so proud of Cassie for stepping forward the way that she did, because she didn't have to do that. She could
That's
have went
true.
on and been happy in her marriage, and she still came forward.
Mm-hmm.
And because of her coming forward, that allowed the other people to speak up.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's really sad to watch what she must have endured. I mean, she was a kid when she met the guy. She was like 17, 18, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you can see in the video he didn't let her leave. She's trying to leave. How many times did that? Because I kept hearing people, even women, I would hear say, "Well, why did she wait so long, and why didn't she leave?" You know, it's just sad that it's just really sad. But I'm trying to see the brighter side of it. I'm glad that she stepped forward. I'm glad this is finally having some light shed on it, and he's ultimately gonna have to pay for what he did.
Mm. Yeah, I feel you on that. People are saying that he rose to fame in the 90s, not the 80s.
No, I'm saying like as far as his upbringing, it was like the '70s, '80s, and it was
Oh,
still happening
okay.
in the '90s a little bit. Just think of like his psyche and what he felt like he might have seen, like what he felt like should have been acceptable to him.
Mm.
Like he probably expected her to he felt like it was okay for him to do what he did, is what I'm saying. Likely based on, and what I'm saying is a lot of people thought it was okay. Like a lot of women just would not call the police on black men. It was really like a unspoken rule that you just didn't do that.
Mm.
So, because I'm in my 40s, and I remember that sentiment. Like you just were not supposed to call the police, or you will get your butt beat.
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
So
So you're saying that you saw abuse growing up and that the abuse that you saw growing up, that the people around you did not call the police.
right.
Mm. Got you. Got you. I
Yeah.
didn't know that that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Unfortunately. So I'm glad to see it changing. I really am.
Yeah. What do you think is
Yeah.
making it change?
I feel like a lot of women have had to do it on their own. They've had to go out and become independent, and um because a lot of women have been able to have their own assets, women have had the ability to do things like get their own bank accounts and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
be able to get higher paying jobs. And because you can be more independent, you don't really have to rely on a guy. I feel like that's helping women to step away from these men and really just work on their self healing and establish more boundaries between themselves and these men.
Yeah, however, you said that we were evolving as a culture. So you think women working has created the conscientiousness for people to want to protect women? Do you think that women are getting jobs in areas where they're decision makers about these things? So I'm curious about how, because there are a lot of different things that we are doing as a society.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's that women are able to. Oh, I don't know how to say it. It's like women don't need men as much. Like women, I think women are starting to realize they don't really need men as much as they thought they did. And so there's less of a desire to protect these men when they're predators. So what I'm saying is because before it seemed like women in the community were protecting men from any sort of consequences. Like they would not call the police on them as a way to protect them. And I think that as we're able to step out on our own more, they're saying, no, I don't have to do that.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. So I am familiar with people not wanting to call the police on black men in particular. I didn't know
That's
that
what I'm
this.
talking about, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want
Okay.
to just say it like that, but
I
yeah,
thought you were
yeah,
talking about all men, but no, with black men, I definitely know about people not wanting to call the police on black men. And partially because, or rather, particularly because black men are quote unquote the underdogs of our society, and people are like, oh, well, black men are so discriminated against that if the police come, that it could be a life sentence for them, et cetera, et cetera. So they deal with the abuse and those types of things because they don't want him to lose his life over it and stuff like that. So yeah, I know about that, but I wonder about us evolving uh, as a community, evolving as people. I um i i don't think evolving is the right word. I feel like it's like what you said, that women are more independent now, and they have more autonomy. But there are still people, like even when I put up a video, they will beat down a black woman to protect a black man and his image. Like the woman who said that she didn't want that man because you feel me him. And even to this
yeah,
day, women are still attacking her on my page. And I'm like, listen, don't do that here. Don't do that. Don't do that. So I don't know what it is. I think it has to do with the patriarchy, where male bodies and male lives are considered more precious. And that is an indoctrination that is going to take a lot more than just women working. Anyway, we've gone over the 5 minutes, but thank you so much for calling in.
yeah. Thanks for you got my brain thinking. I appreciate you as always, and I love the self love focus. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. You have a great night. All right. So the phone lines are open: 323-488-3149. Oh, I don't see the call. I hear it, but I don't see it. Oh my gosh. Why can I not see the call? Where's I turned off so many different things. Now the phone, now the thing is not even ringing on the computer. Ay, 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 ay. So
Hello.
you're in your life with Tonya TKO. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, Tanya. This is Shay, and I'm calling from New Orleans.
Hi, you said Shayna or Sheena?
Shay, Shay.
Oh, hey Shay from New Orleans. Welcome. You're on your live, so talk to us.
How you doing? So I kind of wanted to piggyback off of the last caller and also kind of give my experience as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a program director for I don't want to say the word, but it was for ex trafficking victims.
Mm.
And part of our program was for us to house these women that were at risk with pimps and,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
different unideal circumstances. So the thing is, it's not that people don't want to help. It's not that people are hesitant to saying anything. Sometimes our lives were at risk if we said something, if we went to the police, which in Diddy's case, they're saying the police was working
Oh
with him
yes,
on
I
his
forgot
payroll.
about that. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I'm just a hotel worker, and let's say, hey, I do want to report some information. Diddy's so powerful, I go report that information. Who am I to him if he could do that to someone he supposedly cared about?
Yeah.
But for me, we've had guns pulled in our faces. I had a guy one time who came up to me. Now this young lady was 17, which is the age of consent in Louisiana, but it was still just a sick ordeal where he was actively drugging and
Yeah.
soliciting her services. I'll say
Yeah.
that he was putting her out there to sell her services, and he specifically came up to me because I was the director. He said, "I am taking my property back, and oh, your mother looked beautiful wearing yellow today." I called my mom immediately. I said, "Mom, what color do you have on?" She said, "Oh, I'm wearing yellow." I said, "Can you go back inside?" So we had to deal with things like that just as directors with men who didn't have a quarter of the power that Diddy has.
That's
So
really
I can
interesting.
understand, what
Yeah.
how people can be hesitant. And also in the neighborhood, I witnessed young women sometimes getting assaulted, and everyone would go inside. Oh, that's between her and her man. That's between her and her man. And I also witnessed that when someone did try to step in, the women would turn around. Oh, well, that didn't happen. That didn't happen to me. I don't know what that person's talking about. So it's just like
Mm.
a double edged sword sometimes.
I feel you. I feel you. Wow. Thank you for
Mhm.
that context. I I I
No
I, I
problem.
don't
No
even have
problem.
comment on that because it's just so deep. Thank you.
Yeah. And who am I? I'm just a program director, and it's like, oh well, your mom is wearing yellow today. So it's like letting me know I know who you are, where your mom lives, and if you mess up my money, this is the consequence that you have to deal with.
Yeah, some people out here are so sick. And it's
Mhm.
crazy. I said this in one of my videos in the past.
Mhm.
For far too many of these black men, the problem they had with slavery is that they were enslaved as well. They wanted to be free,
Mhm.
but they didn't care about you being enslaved. They didn't
And I
care.
also feel like they, with the knowledge that we have now, I feel like women, we are progressing and becoming more educated and putting in the work to heal and, just to kind of understand some of our conditioning way from plantation days. Men have the same information accessible to them, and it's like they're choosing to, oh, well, yeah, 400 years ago we were on the plantation, blah, blah. So, what are you doing moving forward? You know this information. How are you going to how are we going to progress now? So it's just easier for them to
Yeah.
play victim because the community is going to protect you at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, I listen, I feel you on that. And then there's also another thing too. It's most of our trade jobs have gone overseas. So nothing is really made in the United States anymore. And so men who would engage in, this manual labor, the jobs are just not here. And I don't think that most I don't think most of the income that men were making were as white collar business owners. I think most of the money that men were making were as factory workers, blue collar, the backbone of the country, the industrial. But once these manufacturing jobs went overseas and men allowed women to be in schools, and then they realized that our brain is the original brain. Listen, I don't want to say too much, but they're just not able to compete with us in school. They're not. They're not.
Right. I agree. I
Well,
totally agree.
we've come to our 5 minutes, so thank you so much. I appreciate you calling
Thank
in.
you, Tanya. I love your show,
Love you
and I
too,
watch every
Mama.
time you go live.
Are you on the text notification squad?
I was. I need to re-enroll. I've changed my number like 3 different times, so it's just a matter of having to update everything
I
again.
mean, with the job that you have, yes, I don't blame you for changing your number. What's going on out there in them streets? All right, Ma. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Okay. Phone lines are open 323-488-3149. It's almost time for us to get up and do another movement break. And my legs are starting to feel tight. So we're going to take one more call and then we're going to do another movement break. Women were meant to live in community. We can still have relationships with men, but we really shouldn't live with them, in my opinion. I think that the way that we socialize males needs to be changed. I think that the socialization worldwide, I think that we have got to create change. Oh, so now I'm not seeing the calls coming through. It's interesting. Let me refresh this. Oh, I hear the calls, but I don't see them anymore. All right. So I'm just going to have to, I need to, oh, I see one coming in now. Okay, here. You're on the air live with Tonya. What's your name and where you calling from? Yeah, something is going on. Let me check all of my windows. Oh, there's another window open. No wonder. Here we go. All right, you're on the air live. Oh, I missed it. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. I'm having some technical difficulties right now. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. And you know what? Once you all start getting used to doing these movement breaks, you're going to crave them during the day. And you're going to be getting up while you're on your long drives. You're going to be getting up when you're at the movie theater. You're going to be realizing that sitting down is death. And you're going to realize that just because society has normalized it doesn't mean that it's normal. And you're going to get up and you're going to move and you're going to get your body pumping in situations where you would have ordinarily just been sitting down. So,
Hi, I'm not able to get to the phone.
all right. The phone lines are back open now. So, you can call in. I just missed a phone call. Yeesh. It's just technical issues. And then after this phone call, we're going to get up and we're going to move and groove. Okay? You're in the air live with Tonya. What's your name and where you calling from? Hello?
Hi. Yes.
Yes, hi. You're on the air live. What's
Oh,
your name and where you calling from?
I'm Francis, and I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Okay, so we have Francis from PA on the line. Okay, so tell us, what's your comment this evening?
Okay, I was calling. I was a little nervous at first, but I'm calling just to say, give my experience, not to judge or anything like that on Cassie, because I was seeing that people was doing that, and I was horrified. Um,
And honestly, the first thing that I thought of was you, because I admire how you tell us all the time that what's the self-love lesson. And I that's the first thing that I thought of, and I was thinking back when I was younger, and I was probably 18 years old, and I was in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with a guy that I should have never been with, but that's, I'm not trying to judge him because that's where I was at, that time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And 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 I was honestly, this is so crazy because when I saw the video, he was a guy that was in the streets, and so he would always be in hotels and stuff, so I would be with him. And this is a situation where we was in a hotel as well, and he was jealous and insecure, so he was going through my phone the night before and saw something that he did not like. So when we woke up the next morning, I woke up to him choking me, and I was horrified. And so I got up, he threw my phone and broke it, and I got up and ran and grabbed my stuff and got out of the room. And whenever I went into the bathroom, I was able to after I called the got somebody else's phone, and was able to call for a cab to get home. And then I locked myself in the bathroom until I was able to get out of there. And that just reminded me of that and stuff like that. And I've never dealt with that somebody like that since. And so it just reminded me to, never judge that situation what she was in, and just to keep just telling myself, to allow people in my life that's going to respect me, and that's going to love themselves and be secure in themselves to where they can also love me back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
part of what saved you is you probably were not conditioned for abuse. It had not been normalized to you, and your esteem had not been broken down, but you see
Yes.
how he waited until you were in a weakened state where you were unconscious
Yes.
in order to
Yes.
attack you.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't the first time, honestly. The first time, some people say, "Oh, that wasn't a big deal." It was honestly when my brothers gave him the beat down. But the second time, that's when I went back because I did think that maybe it wasn't a big deal. It was when he grabbed me by my necklace and broke the necklace and scratched my neck. But some people were saying, "Oh, well, it's not a big deal." Da, da. But I felt like it was, and so I told my brothers, for being so young, that's kind of like how they was thinking, oh, we're going to give him a beat down. So they gave him a beat down, but then we kind of like got back together later. But after that time, it was, that was over. But this was another part I wanted to add really fast, was how we don't tell. And it took me a long time before I told my family about the second time, because
Mm.
of because of the shame, and because of not wanting my brothers to be in a situation to where they would harm him or harm themselves. So that's
Mm.
another thing in our community and stuff that a lot of women do. But it's not to blame ourselves and stuff like that as well.
Got you, got you, got you, got you. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you so much for calling in and giving that point of view. Thank you.
Yes, no problem.
All right. All right. We're going to take some more phone calls, but first we need to get up and we need to. Con ese estilo retro, estás interesante. I ain't in the mood right now. I ain't in the mood. I ain't in the mood right now. I need. Give me one. Let me see if I can find something else, because I ain't in the mood right now. Let's see what this is. I think we've heard that before. Let me see what else. I need to add some more songs on here because let's see. I ain't in the mood for no auto tune right now. I ain't in the mood for no auto tune. Let's see. This sounds like a sunny day song, so listen. Every day I see miserable people doing things they hate. This is dedicated to Diddy. All right, listen, get up out your seat. All right, get up out your seat. Everybody. All right. right. Come on. Come on. All right. Hey, 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 hey. We don't need someone to feel alright. Okay. Okay. Let's do the streets all the money. Let's call your exes. All right. Tell them they can join us too. Why always put it on money? All right. When you can get rich, trying to see the outside.
I know it's hard sometimes to believe it. That you deserve more than me, say it. Oh, quit the job you hate and love the ones you love. 'Cause have you ever really thought about you? Don't know why I keep on doing what I'm told to do. When the rules are made up by someone we never knew. Baby, wipe your tears and hear me out. We don't need someone to feel alright. Let's do the streets on Monday.
Okay.
Let's call your exes and tell them they can join us too. Why always put it on Monday? When you can get rich, we're trying to see the outside.
That was nice. That was nice. That was nice. All right. So just 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes to just move our bodies. You can give yourself that, right? You can give yourself 2.5 minutes to just get up and get your heart pumping, right? Laugh a little. You can do that for yourself, right? All right. Let's take a few more phone calls. Actually, let's take a quick break. I have to run to the ladies' room, and then we'll take a few more phone calls when I come back. So I'm going to put the thing up for some cash apps on the screen. Contribute. If everybody gave $1, that would more than support the broadcast. So no amount is too small, and I read your comment on air. So we'll be back in about 1 minute. Oh, let me get some music for you while we're away. Let's see. Oh, that was a nice little dance. That was fun. Let me see.
Please fill my cup. Am I really asking for much? It's been a long week, I'm looking for fun. Please fill my cup. Find me under the sun. SOS, I'm just looking for a good time. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. And I'm singing like whoa, oh, oh, oh. Lit check, been a minute, let me hit the homies in a group text. 10 years, same team. Got a couple trophies, but no chains on the neck. Got a couple Cardis, we don't flood with baguettes. It's a very small world, so my hand holds. Wake up, make the money, that's a man's role. Loyalty and love is what I stand for. Can't forget about trust, but first, please fill my cup. Am I really asking for much? It's been a long week, I'm looking for fun. Please fill my cup. Find me under the sun. SOS, I'm just looking for a good time. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. And I'm singing like whoa, oh, oh, oh. It's the weekend, we've been working. I'll be posted, fire side. Bring my boys in, bring your girls in. We'll be posted up all night. Yeah, limited edition, not the regular one. We shut down the city like when presidents come. I am not a rookie, I'm a veteran, bruh. Promise I'ma take it easy later on. Whoa, oh, oh, oh.
All right. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. Actually, I guess let that play in the background.
Please fill my cup
while we take a look at the apples. All right, so Glynis sends in $50. Wow, Glynis, thank you. And her comment is, thank you for always caring. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And Chiquita sends $5 and says, great show. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's jump back. There were a few more people who were trying to call in. So let's grab some of those calls. Let's grab some of those calls. Oh, Melita says it's 4:48 a.m. in Amsterdam. Love the movement break. Got out of my bed and danced. Thanks, Tonya. That's wonderful. And for anybody who is here on the East Coast and it's getting late for you and maybe you don't want to dance, you can stretch. Just move. Just get out of your position. Just move. Even if you just clench your muscles and release after 5 seconds and clench and release. It's about being in the intention of caring for your body. It's about being in the mindset of, I love myself so much that even while I'm sitting down watching TV, even while I'm binge watching these shows, even while I'm on the train, even while I'm in my commute, like if you have a 2-hour drive, if you're stuck in traffic, pull over, get off the highway, stretch your legs, do some jumping jacks in the middle of the street or on the side of the road or however it is that, well, make sure that you're safe. But move your body because sitting is death. And we were not meant to be sitting in these 90-degree angles. We were meant to be squatting down on the ground to do most things. Now we have poor knee health, arthritic hips, and low flexibility in our ankles because by the time we're 5 years old, if anybody who's ever had children, you know that children naturally just squat down to the ground. Then we get into these schools and they put us in these chairs, and then the next thing you know, now we don't have hip and leg mobility and flexibility anymore. So make sure that you are getting up and that you're moving. We got a personalized note from Francis. Let's see what it says. Okay, being a safe space for me to tell my story and heal. Thank you so much, Francis. We appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so let's get to the phone line. Oh, this is still on the screen. Let me give you some hearts. Okay, perfect. And we're going to get out of here soon because I like to go to sleep with the meridians of the sun, and I like to get my rest because I wake up really early to go check on the garden and do my therapies and my yoga and all that other stuff. So I wake up pretty early for that. All right. They said African women squat giving birth. I think most women in the developing world would squat to give birth, and that's the natural way that our bodies were intended for the natural process of childbirth to come through. All right, so let me get these phone lines back open. We're going to take a few more phone calls, and then we're going to jump out of here. Okay, phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. All right. Ooh. Let's see. Somebody's saying something about Diddy and a child that was 12 and all of this stuff. It's a little long for me to read. So let me just grab this real quick. You're in Your Life with Tonya. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Laverne and I'm calling from Northern California.
Hi, Laverne from Northern California.
Hi.
All right, so talk to us.
Okay, so I just wanted to just point out a couple of things. One is that, I'm not sure how much you guys have talked about this, so if any of these are repeat topics, just please let me know and I'll cut myself off. But basically, this whole domestic violence situation is really a symptom of like a larger issue in our society. You know, for example, we've got, and I'm just going to have to put it out there, we've got too many fatherless homes. We've got too many black mothers that are coddling their sons because their fathers or baby daddies are not present. We have, even if you go back to when you were a little girl and like your parents or your friends might say, oh well, if that little boy just hit you, then that means that they like you. I mean, some of this stuff kind of goes to your whole point of being conditioned to kind of accept it, because it's like if a little boy hit you, then he really likes you. And another thing I just want to add, another couple of things, are that these abusers, they're often very charismatic people. They have the ability to really attempt to love bomb you, get to know you, learn your insecurities, and then they attempt to basically isolate you and then be that most best friend, the only friend that you can really turn to, so they ingratiate themselves to you. And then that leaves you much more vulnerable, and you start to feel like, yeah, this is my person. And then they start to flip. So I'm saying they target their victims. Like me, for example, I grew up in a divorced home of it was 3 kids my mother had. My father was out of the picture. I didn't have any brothers. Very small family. Now, thank God my mother did teach me some of these things, but I still fell victim on a couple of occasions to being a survivor of domestic violence. And I would consider myself to be a pretty competent person, but I'm saying that any insecurity you have, and we all have them, any sort of lack of self-esteem anywhere, we all have them. They have the ability to pinpoint almost with precision the targeted victims that they go after. And then you got to also understand, not every day is a bad day. You can have great days, and then it'll flip back to where this person becomes a terrible monster, right? It's kind of part of the cycle of violence. So I think a lot of people don't understand that and have not studied that and don't get that it's not just as simple all the time as, why don't you just leave? Just leave. Just leave, because that person has become somewhat of your world. That person you go to for emotional comfort, certainly if you're in an intimate relationship, sexual comfort, protection, even though it seems ironic to say that, right, when the person's beating your ass like that. But I'm saying it's a mental thing as well. And then if you add the layer of addiction of drugs to it, then that's a whole nother level. So I just have to point out, I need people to understand that it is not just as simple as they did this to me, they hurt me, and I don't want to have anything ever to do with you. It doesn't always work that way. And I'm saying it for somebody who is now 58 years old and has a master's degree and makes quite a bit of money. It happened to me. So I just want people to just try to study what the cycle of violence is. There's a reason. There's a mental whole element that keeps people in that place. And it does take a strong person to push out. That's really all I wanted to say.
Okay, well, thank you. And I need to follow up on some of the things that you did say. So thank you. So let's talk about the first thing that you said. You said there are too many fatherless homes. I'm not really seeing the correlation with that. So help me understand that.
Yeah, when I say that, and I'm definitely, first of all, this is multifaceted. This is not a one-dimensional cause and effect. So what I'm saying is that when you do have fatherless homes, some of the women in these homes that have particularly sons, they put their sons almost like that is their man.
Okay, let me pause.
Like
let me pause you right there. Okay.
Sure.
All right. I just want to jump back. I want to jump back to the original sentiment of the fatherless homes and the women coddling their sons, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about that. One, some of these men need to be out of the homes. Like there's
Absolutely.
So the type of man that would abandon his children in the first place is the type of man that should not be in that home, because he has deficits in his character that he would only infect that home would probably be worse with him in it. The type of man who would abandon his children is a person of such low character, such distorted morals that he shouldn't be in that home to begin with. So that's one, right? And then two, we have to think about the mindset of the woman who was engaging in these type of behaviors with that type of person, right? So we have a brokenness that exists in her, a brokenness that
Right.
exists in him. The type of woman who
Correct.
is coddling her sons, there's a brokenness that exists there because why is she favoring boys? It's the whole thing that I was talking about on one of these other calls, that the male body is seen as the male presence is seen as more precious than that of the female presence, that we honor men's lives more than we honor women's lives, that men are thought of as the default human. Like if somebody says,
Yeah.
I saw a person in the street, right? The first thing that comes to mind is a white male. There was a guy. There was a person crossing the street. There was a person in the parking lot. There was a person driving. The vision that comes to many people's mind is that of a male, that of a white male, because that is thought of as the default human, and everybody else is in a subcategory
Okay.
from there. So there's a lot of things that are going on in the ways that we are programming our boys, the way that we're programming our girls, the way that women and men are both being programmed. And so it's like, no, what was the first thing that came to your mind when I was like, there was a person crossing the street? What type of person was it?
Well, when you say a person crossing the street, naturally I'm programmed, as most people are, to consider it being likely a white man crossing the street.
Right, exactly. So personhood begins with maleness, and personhood for many of us in the types of countries that we're in, personhood begins with whiteness and white maleness, and that everybody else is otherized. So there are a lot of different things that are going on, and why are we putting the crux of children being malformed, mal-raised? Why are we putting the crux of that on the parent that stayed in the situation? Even if even if there was a woman who was coddling her sons, right? What is the caliber of the man who has left his son in a situation with an ill-equipped woman with faulty thinking patterns to begin with? So it's like it takes two people to
Yes.
create a human. Go ahead.
Right. No, I completely agree with you. Now, just sidebar. Sidebar. There are a number of different reasons why maybe if a person has a mental illness, maybe they have an addiction issue, maybe it isn't just that I just never came back home because I didn't want to be there. There can be a myriad of reasons as to why the father is not, or a father figure is not around. What I'm basically saying is that I'm not blaming it per se, but I am just going to be honest about it, because I will speak the truth from where I see it. And what I'm saying is that I think with us feeling as black women a lot of times that our black men are not being treated fairly in the world. We know people who have been over incarcerated, charged for crimes they did not commit, that have been actually in times of slavery. They've actually had certain body parts amputated. I mean, the prison systems are full of people who maybe don't deserve to be there, but there is a slice of people who do. And all I'm saying is that society, I think black women, some black women, some single black women feel like the world is out to get their son. So they do whatever they can do to try to protect, and some of that protection turns into coddling. Because a woman's nature is to love, is to nurture, and when a woman has to be both a man and a woman, something's probably going to slip. And all I'm saying is that all of these predators, they have mothers, they have fathers, hopefully they have, whether they're in a home or not, they have nephews or uncles or someone. These people didn't just come out of thin air. And what I'm saying, and it's not necessarily just a black thing, but I'm just saying because of the particular injustices and the framework that black males find themselves in, I think sometimes that leads women, particularly mothers, to not. Have you ever heard the term? We love our daughter, but we raise our daughter, but we love our son. You know, there's a bit of a pattern of pathology there. And I think some of that pathology leads to people not being held accountable. It's just like when, if you're one of those parents, and I know my mother was a teacher, so I have some love for teachers, but, if you ever tell a person or a mother that, hey, your son is being a bully, or your son is exhibiting behavior that's not acceptable, you don't know how many of these mothers will say, not my son. I mean, knowing that their son is bad is all outside. But it's a point of coddling to a point that it becomes counterproductive to that person's growth and development.
Okay, so I'm okay. So there's a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and I feel like there's a. I feel like even in your sentiment that there's a coddling of men in the sentiment, where you talk about how black men are being treated unfairly, about how these mothers are coddling their sons, about it seems like the emphasis is on mothers and boys, right? We're talking about Sean Combs, a grown man, deciding that he was going to assault a woman. I don't see how that relates to the coddling, the choice that a grown man made and continued to make over and over again. How does that relate?
Yeah, I'm not saying that this is an excuse or that there is a I'm not saying that there's an excuse for it or that excuses it, nor am I a proponent of quote unquote coddling.
I need you to
people.
just tell me how it relates, please. Because we've already gone over the 5 minutes. We're at 12, 13 minutes now. How does a son being coddled relate to a grown man making the choice over and over and over again to assault a woman?
I would say because they have not received the tools, they have not received the structure, they have not been held accountable for other things that they may have done. They have not been brought up as real men.
Hold on. So, you see, you're doing it. You're doing what you are accusing other people of doing. Okay. Somebody tell me how old Sean Combs is.
54.
Okay, so this man is about half a decade away from being 60. This is a grown ass man who has made the choice over and over and over again to be abusive. Nobody made him continue to be abusive. He's grown. You cannot continue to blame mama. And we don't know what his situation was like in his home growing up. Was his mother, was his father, what was his family dynamic growing up?
I'm not going to speak on what I know and what I don't know. I'm going to say I don't know.
Okay.
But what I have read, what I've read is that his father was a drug dealer, was a pretty well-known drug dealer in New York, and his mother was sort of, I guess, in that era was sort of, we're just going to look the other way. And so there was a lot of, I guess, pathology that he grew up with in his own family.
Okay, so I'm curious now. I don't know the validity of what it is that you just said. This is, to me, I don't know his family dynamic growing up, right? Mm-hmm. What I do know is that you spent the bulk of the phone call talking about women's participation in how these males grow up. When there's an overarching theme about the failure of men. The fathers failed The men, the grown men, they're failing themselves. And it seems as if you're doing what you're saying these other women are doing. You're putting the crux of the focus and emphasis on the mothers. Now, there's no what is we there's no correlation between single parent household and abusive men. There's no correlation between that I know of. One thing that I do know is that at some point in a man's life, in a woman's life, in an adult's life, they have to stop blaming other people. They can't be like, oh, my mother. No, they can't do that. And we have to stop putting women on this Superman status or this Superwoman status where she is and was supposed to be faultless. You know, part of the issue that many people don't focus on is that men, that statistically what the data shows is that men prefer to date women that are 7 to 10 years younger than they are. Even though the best relationships, the relationships that are the healthiest and last the longest, are the ones where there's a 2 to 4 year age difference, right? So what we're talking about is a grown man who is, let's say, 30 years old, impregnating a 20-year-old and leaving her with the children. And then now she is operating from whatever standpoint she's operating from and attempting to raise these children that this grown man has left her with. The vast majority of teenage pregnancies are not caused by teenagers. Who are they caused by? The majority of teenage pregnancies are caused by men. I did the data in a video, are caused by men who are grown. The majority, and when it comes to impregnating 12-year-olds, most of those pregnancies occur from men who are 7 to 10 years older than they are. So it's like we have this age gap that exists in the way that men prefer to date women and mate with women. And then they leave them with these children that they are ill-equipped to take care of. And we're talking about women coddling boys. Why the hell was she left alone in her mind, her mind state, to take care of these children on her own? She apparently was ill-equipped.
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess you'd have to ask 70% of the children that are out there. That most of the 70% of the black population is being raised by single mothers. It's not the single mother's fault. I'm not necessarily saying that. I think it's a collective. You know, it's not just on her because she is the one left holding the bag, you know, so to speak. So it's not that. I'm saying there's an accountability for that individual. There's accountability for the mother. There's accountability for the social structure around them, and it's just an accountability for the person to know right from wrong. But some people, believe it or not, don't seem to know that, and I don't know how they don't, but some don't.
Let me just say this, right? In the world of men, it was black men's failure that they became enslaved in the first place. They failed themselves. And they continue to fail themselves by failing in this system beneath other men.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep, I agree with you there. And thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, thank you for calling in.
All right. Take care.
I really want us to focus on the paternal abandonment. Instead of focusing on the mother who stays in the situation, I need us to focus on the father who abandoned his child. There's so many people out there who will talk about, oh, well, the mother chased him away, et cetera, et cetera. The court system in this country is run by men. It's run by men. They favor men. When men step up, they get favored. I think that we have to do a better job of of the nuance in the conversations that we're having. I'm going to take one more phone call and then we're going to get out of here.
Hello?
You're in your live with Tonya. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, hi. I'm going to go by my alias, Mean Exotical, and I'm in Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Okay.
Is this a
Kalatusu.
freedom of speech thing, or are we, like, censored? Because, like, this is my first time here.
Well, you can speak. You can speak. So you said your name is Exotical?
Mean Exotical, that's my alias.
Okay.
But
And you said you're calling from Tuscaloosa, Georgia?
Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Tallapoosa. Okay, I've never heard of that. Well, welcome in Exotical.
Oh, thank you. I was just going to say that um, for the last girl that called in, I see where she was trying to go. But I would just say Diddy is a degenerate. Everybody around him knew that he was degenerate. He's been doing degenerate things for years. And in my personal opinion, I feel like the black community struggles as a whole to call out degeneracy when it's black men. I don't know if it's because, when they finally do achieve wealth and status, it looks good. But I mean, this guy has been sick for a long time. Him, R. Kelly, all of them. And what I notice is that when they do wicked things like this, it's swept under the rug for a really long time. And when they come out with these types of allegations that's been coming out for years, I feel like the black community likes to deflect. Well, the white races are doing it too. They have offenders there too. Like they'll point at everyone else, but it's like, let's not compare degeneracies. Let's just call it for what it is. The man is sick, and that's never changed. And I just want to know, why did it take for her to come out for it to be blown up when there were allegations against him way back in the day before I was even born? But that just goes to show you how powerful women are when we speak. That it takes us to do something for stuff to actually get done. Because there's been many men that have been poked in their ass by Diddy too. So it's like, damn, you got poked in your ass and you still didn't have the balls to speak up. But this lady comes forth and now all of a sudden everybody wants to come out and cry about what Diddy did to them. Well, where were you way back then? I mean, I just find this absolutely exhausting.
Oh, wow.
And it's ridiculous that a young lady's image has to be tainted and dragged through the media because no other men that were poked in the ass wanted to come forth. That's all I have to say.
Wow. Well, was he beating them up too? Was the poking consensual?
Honestly, if you ask me, he probably was beating them up in every way, beating their ass, beating their assholes up, and punching them. Who knows? All I know is that it's nothing new. He's been doing it. It's just sad that a sweet young lady had to come forth for people to actually take it seriously. I mean, wasn't there a white escort that allegedly came forth that said he also was being poked in the ass by him? Like, where was this guy at 5 years ago, 7 years ago? Why now?
Well, see, the thing is, if okay, so just being poked in the rectum doesn't mean that Diddy did anything wrong, because there's consensual poking, and I don't think anyone has come out that said that he poked them in the rectum without their consent. Is there anybody who said that?
Allegedly.
Oh, goodness. Luana is saying some of the poking was not consent. Oh, I didn't hear about the men getting poked against their will. Oh my. Well, you know what? Listen, it's all gonna come out in the wash now because the cat is out the bag. However, I don't think that the word of women is very powerful. I don't think that, because there were people who were coming out against Bill Cosby for decades. And it wasn't until a male comedian made jokes about it that people started taking it seriously. Also, with the R. Kelly thing, I don't know. I just don't think that the word of I'd have to think about that a little bit more. What was it about Cassie that made that situation go viral and got things to start getting done? I don't know. I think it was a perfect storm. I think it was how quickly he settled. I think that the egregiousness of the allegations. I think it's because Diddy has been a figure that has been shown on his shows, and Danity Kane exposed him, and his security guard has been speaking out. And I don't know. I don't know if it's because Cassie has preferential features. I don't know. I don't know. I think that may have something to do with it. But yes.
Yeah, it definitely does. And we all know that.
So is it the power of women's voice, or is it our wanting to cover that which we find societally more beautiful with Anglo features, that we then are like, oh, how dare he do that to a preference? Because Kim Porter, people are saying he took her life.
That's true.
There's a lot to think about with this. I'm glad you were the last phone call. Thank you so much for coming out and speaking your word.
No problem. Have a good day. And to all the down low black men, please come out. Stop ruining your community. Thank you.
You really focused on this poking.
Yeah, because I'm really shocked that.
But wait, I want to know, what is your personal relationship to men being poked, that this is such a point of contention for you?
I mean, I just noticed that there's been an outpour of down low black men just.
I know, but what is your personal relationship to that this is such a hot button issue so close to the breast for you?
Well, I think it's that Diddy's been, poking men in the ass for years, and now all of a sudden this woman comes forth with what she's going through, and now it's like, well, let's go ahead and lay all these charges on him. And I'm like, well, it's not just women he was doing these things to, it was men too. I feel like
you're not being forthright, because now you're talking about down low men. Did he ever say that he wasn't bi? Because Wendy Williams has been saying it for years.
I mean, a lot of people have had stories.
So have you had a situation with somebody who was on the down low?
Me personally, no. But I mean, I know women that have.
Okay, all right. Because you seem super offended about the fact that he was poking men, but he was also poking women. I think he even gave J-Lo the gun, and he let Shine take the rap for him, and all types of stuff had been surrounding Sean for years. All right, let me let you go because I'm so sleepy right now. So I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So listen, it is time for us to come up with our self-love lessons. So while you all are thinking of your self-love lessons, let's get up out of our chairs and just see. Let's see what this is. I ain't in the mood for that right now. Let's see. What do we have? Gotta get back. Oh, we did listen to that beat. We listened to that last week. This one is called Tell 'Em No. This is called Tell 'Em No. This is what, listen, if somebody comes and they trying to poke you, tell them no, 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 no. If somebody comes and they're like, tell them, no, no, nope, 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 nope. Tell them, nope, nope. Listen.
Hold up, baby, don't take it. In a friendship, if they just fake it, you don't need to put up with their bullshit. Tell them no, 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 no. Hold up, baby, don't stress it. It ain't worth it, and you won't miss it. You don't need to put up with their bullshit. Tell them no, 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 no. They don't have respect for your boundaries. Girl, you hit too close to the edge now. Only thing they got is toxicity. You can eat a cleanse till the out. You got the bags, but they ain't got yours. You've done enough, but they still want more. You've been a good friend down to the core.
No, no, no.
Hold up, baby, don't take it. In a friendship, if they just fake it, you don't need to put up with their bullshit. Tell them no, 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 no. Hold up, baby, don't stress it. It ain't worth it, and you won't miss it. You don't need to put up with their bullshit. Tell them no, 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 no,
All right. All right. All right, listen. It is about time for us to get our self-love lessons together. All right. Francis sends $5 and says, being a safe space for me to tell my story and heal. Oh, I think we read this one already. We did. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All you have to do is Shazam. Use Shazam. If you ever like a song that's on my platform, just look it up on Shazam. All right, so come on, let's get our self-love lesson. The name of that artist is called Flux Vortex. It's called Tell 'Em No. All right. So come on, SLL. The self-love. I want you to type what your self-love lesson is from tonight's broadcast. One of my self-love lessons, I'll think about it some more because I'm still developing it in my mind right now. So the rules for the self-love lesson, type SLL for self-love lesson, and then type out what it is that you've learned about loving yourself in a new way from today's broadcast. So I want you to think from the I, me standpoint, without typing words like no, don't, never, not, or any of that. I want you to type from the positive affirmative of what it is that you do want. SLL, listen to my body and give myself enough time to give my body what it needs. Okay, perfect. My SLL is tell them no, 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 no. Too much. Too much. Too much. SLL, tell someone. All right. I need to get these earrings back in stock. I love these. These are my knockout earrings with my knockout logo on them. So I will get these back in stock one day. Okay. Okay, so let's see what the self-love lesson is. Let's see what the self-love lesson is. All right. I need people to start typing their self-love lessons. I honor my own self. Perfect. I love that. This song is slapping. I need to put on something a little more calm behind it. Let's see. All right. Live in peace. Respecting myself and my boundaries is my responsibility and my priority. I love that. I am enough. Beautifully stated. I love that. I love that. I love that. All right. All right. All right. And we are having a procrastination party this coming week so that we could get our stuff taken care of. So I should be announcing that tomorrow if I can get the webpage up. I love myself for what it is. Be ready to accept love and strength from above so that I can pass it along to my loved ones when they need it. Okay. Happy birthday, Queen. Happy birthday to you. All right. Give compassion. I love that. Take the time to get to know myself so that I can love myself and know my tolerance and boundaries. So let's talk from the I, me. You can even rewrite that and just use I and me. Okay, self-love is better than outside influence. All right, I love myself and I respect my boundaries for other people. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to tell you my self-love lesson. So go out there and love one another. Most importantly, love yourself. If you're new here, I'm Tonya TKO and I'm a self-love specialist. Today we talked about Diddy. We had a lot of live phone calls that have come in. And for me, my self-love lesson from today's broadcast is about self-examination. That there can be some ideas that I have that I've been formulating and have not taken the time to see the holes in my ideas and how I can actually be supporting ideas that are, because I don't want to use the word not or don't or anything. So to just make sure that the ideas to double check my ideas to make sure that my ideas are still up to par with my standards and what it is that I would like to express and uphold. All right. So thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you for getting up for the movement breaks. Thank you to everybody who sent a Cash App through and supported the broadcast. Thank you to everybody who typed and shared the broadcast, who liked it, and who have subscribed. So thank you to all of you. Interacting with the channel really makes a difference for the algorithm, and so I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to the people who have gone to TonyaTKO.com/text and joined the text notification squad. The link is in the description of this video, and you can also find it on my website. So thank you all so very much. I appreciate you all for coming out. Let me put on some parting music, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Una noche pensando en ti, espero que todo esté bien. Mirando al cielo and I hope you're doing the same. Fumo un poco para tratar de sacarte de mi mente. Bien difícil falling in love with you cause you made it look so easy. Pensando que me necesitabas y lo permití. Bebé,